This is Tom Rust for TRSB Sports Podcast. Tonight, delighted to be joined by a professional boxer, Dean Dodge. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Thank you for jumping on the channel tonight and giving up some of your time. Good weekend?
Yeah, mate, it was right. Just pretty chilled. Just chilled out with a girl I'm seeing, and yeah, just watched the boxing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go straight on to that. Jump straight in. Obviously, Saturday night, huge fight on Sky Sports box office. Kell Brook, Amir.
Yeah.
Firstly, did it go the way you expected it to?
To be honest, nah, I didn't. I thought Amir Khan was going to be a lot sharper. I thought he was going to give Kell a lot of troubles to start with, and Kell was just too strong, way too strong. His shots, Amir Khan's shots just seemed to bounce off Kell Brook and didn't really have an effect. It was a shame because um, seeing Amir grow up and that, and he was one of my favorite fighters growing up, and he just didn't look the same fighter in the ring on the night.
Do you think it would have been the same outcome? If they had got it on a few years ago.
I don't know. You can't say. Possibly. It's a hard one because Amir Khan lost all his sharpness, all his speed. Everything just wasn't there from what it used to be like 6 years ago. If they took the fight that back then, maybe he might have given Kell a lot more troubles. But I know Kell looked very strong, looked very sharp as well.
Yeah, Khan took some big shots. In the first round, it seemed like he never really got a foothold in the fight.
No, that's right. Soon I think he got hit with a big shot straight away in the first round, and he just seemed to not be with it. His legs sort of went, didn't have his everything just went out the window sort of thing, and he was just struggling on since the first round.
Do you think it's time for him to hang out the gloves now?
Yeah, I think so. He's had 3 years out. He's gone straight back in the deep end and had a hard fight. So, he's made his money. He's done what he's done, and he's put on some great fights for us as fans. And I don't think he needs to carry on.
And what about Kell Brook? There's a lot of talk about Conor Benn fighting everyone at the moment, it seems. But he was there. I think he was working with TalkSport that night. There's talk about him fighting Kell Brook. Would you like to see it? And if it did happen, how would you see it going?
That's a good fight. I think they said about him fighting Chris Eubank Jr. as well. That'd be another great fight. I don't know. It's hard to say. Conor Benn's looked very impressive in his last few fights, with devastating knockout power. If he fought Kell Brook, I don't know. I think from watching him fight his last few fights, I think he might just be a little bit too sharp for him. But it's hard to say, and that's boxing. Anything can happen.
Yeah, of course. Like I say, it's a little bit cliche, but one punch can change anything in a fight. It seems like we've got so much boxing at the moment as well, with Eddie Hearn, DAZN, Frank Warren, Queensbury, and Sky Sports doing a lot. How impressed have you been with Sky? Because of course they had Eubank Williams a couple of weekends ago. Just had Kell Brook, Amir Khan, got Josh Taylor at the weekend. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation about what cards they were going to put on. Obviously, they've teamed up with Boxer. Have you been impressed with their fights so far this year?
Yes, Boxer's been really good. The Liam Williams fight was really good. And I'm buzzing to see Josh Taylor back in action. He's one of my favourite fighters. And he's very exciting to watch.
Do you feel like he gets the recognition for what he's actually achieved in boxing? Because he's on the only one fight away from becoming undisputed.
No, definitely not. He's never really had the support. He hadn't really had much of a backing from him either. I don't think he's ever really been on many Sky Sports shows, and when he won the whole tournament, I didn't think he really got the praise for what he did. You know what I mean? It was massive.
Oh, no, I agree. But another great fight coming up this Saturday, mate. Talking about big fights, one of the reasons why I've got you on the channel tonight. You're fighting on the 1st of April, York Hall, Bethnal Green, London, for the Southern Area title fight. How's everything going for it? Preparation, your camp?
Yeah, everything's going really well. Second pop at it. I'm just looking forward to it. You know what I mean? The first time I went out and boxed for the Southern Area, I had a lot of things going on in my personal life, so that wasn't to blame. But I just didn't really perform well and just chased the fight so much. I wanted to win so badly, and to be honest, Danny just boxed my head off. And fair play to him, he done very well.
Do you want to elaborate on what was going on at the time? Obviously, you don't have to, or tell us like what's different now going into this title fight compared to what was going on last year.
About 6 weeks before my last fight, I went homeless and had a lot of things going on, so I didn't have nowhere to stay to live really. I was living with my mate. He managed to put me up for the last like 5-6 weeks. Clothes and bags and that. It was a bit of a shit time. So yeah, but this time I have nothing like that's happening. No women troubles, no things, no distractions outside of boxing are happening to me at the minute. So I'm in a good mind space, and mentally feeling very focused and I'm ready for this fight.
How tough is that? Because when you're training for such a big fight, it's fighting on the smaller hall shows as well. It's not like you can just pull out you see fighters pull out on Sky and other platforms. How tough was that going into a title fight knowing that you weren't in the position you wanted to be in?
I just rolled with the punches sort of thing. I said to myself, oh, now I'm fine on that. But then a lot of people said to me, who knew me well, said, like, you know what I mean, that would have played a massive part in subconsciously, you know what I mean? Like, but to me, I thought I just roll with it. I've gone through a lot of tough times in my life, so I just roll with it. But looking back at it, maybe it did, maybe my mind wasn't 100% on the fight, and I was in shape. I was in really good shape, as you see on the scales. I come into the fight in great shape, but maybe subconsciously things weren't 100%.
And how confident are you going into the fight come 1st of April?
Yeah, very confident. Training's going really well. Sparring's going well. There's no distractions. You know what I mean? Nothing outside of my boxing life is disrupting this camp. Nothing's gone on. No injuries, no niggles. So at the moment, it's flying 6 weeks out.
So at the moment, what is a stereotypical day looking like for you from sort of like the moment you wake up? Talk to us a little bit about like your training, like the food you're eating to get you in the best position going into the fight.
Yeah. Okay. So today I've sparred 7 rounds in Newport at Tony Borg's gym. I was good with two different lads. That was good sparring. So usually wake up in the morning, I do my daily stretches, morning stretch, and then I travel to Weston-super-Mare, which is about an hour away from Yeovil. Get there for about 10 o'clock, and then travel an hour from Weston to Newport, then spar, and then drive back to Weston, chill out for a bit, go for a walk, get some steps in, and then drove back to Yeovil, and then just chill out really. I would sometimes try and push maybe a light run or something else, but tomorrow I'll be training twice. It'll be Tuesday tomorrow, so get up, train. I'll go train with Max Carnage. He's doing a bit of the strength and conditioning with me. So he lives about 40-45 minutes away from me. Do a session with him, and then I go train with Dave Entwistle in Taunton. He's another coach who I train alongside with, and he does a lot of technical stuff with me. And so it's him and Dean Lewis who I train with. Dean Lewis that trains in Weston-super-Mare with him, and then train with Dave Entwistle in Taunton.
And what about your diet? What's that like? Do you find it hard to make weight, or does it come easy? Are you quite disciplined with your food?
Yeah, I'm quite disciplined. I've got a good nutritionist on board, Peter Bull. He's been with me for um, since my last fight as well. He's very good, very switched on. He's got a lot of big boys under his wing, and a lot of people um are with him. He's very good. To be honest, I'm pretty switched on with all my stuff anyway, all my food and that. But he just opened my eyes up to like I could have more. Well, before I thought I could only have this set amount of food on this sort of day, but now I'm eating loads. Like I just had a tub of ice cream now. And not many fighters are doing that. You know what I mean? The weight's flying off me.
And what after a fight, after a hard camp, what's one of the sort of first things like you eat after a fight?
Um, I do. I've got a sweet tooth, so I do like my cookies. And I do like my pizza, but I do have a bit of a downfall, blowing up a little bit, and that's the only downfall. So this after this fight, I'm definitely sticking to like eating like, well, not like sensible, but not being stupid and overeating.
Not doing like a Ricky Hatton or a Tyson Fury.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it happens. I'm only human.
No, no, of course. It sounds like as well from speaking to you, we appreciate you being so honest about what happened last year. But from speaking to you today, you seem incredibly settled now. How good does that feel for yourself going into this title fight in a good place?
Yeah, it's really good. I'm doing a lot of like mental training and stuff. Reading reading like a lot of inspirational quotes and things. Even went away and read the Bible as well. So doing little things like that, you know what I mean, just to make myself feel good, feel better, and you know what I mean. On April 1st, I will be performing better.
So talking about what you've been through, if anyone is watching this struggling, having a hard time, whether they're into boxing or not, what advice would you give them to get through a difficult period?
I would say tough times don't last, tough people do. It's a bit of a cliche, but that's true. You know what I mean. The hard times don't last. They will pass, they will subside. You know what I mean? Even though at the time you think they won't, you think, oh shit, like this is it. You know what I mean? Everything's going rock bottom, everything's hitting rock bottom. But once you're at the bottom, you can't go any lower. So the only way is up. You know what I mean?
And was there anyone in particular that sort of inspired you through your difficult time?
Um, not anyone inspired me. Like I I listened to a lot of philosophers. So I was listening to Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you know him, but I was listening to him quite a bit. He helped me quite a bit. And I just switched up my own mindset. You know what I mean? I just said to myself like stop being a bitch and just like I'm the only one to save myself, sort of thing. No one else could save you. You got to do it yourself. You know what I mean? People might give you a lot of hand and help you here and there, but at the end of the day, it's you're the only person who can get you out of them dark, deep situations.
And with yourself as well, taking the right fights at the right time, being in the right mental space, how far can you go in the sport?
I believe I can win a British title. That's what I believe I can do. That's my aim. I've always said to myself, I want to win a British title. Obviously, start off winning the Southern area and then win the English and then win the British. I wanna do it the old school route. You know what I mean? That's my aim in the game. I'm 28 years old. I'm still young. I've got a lot of years left, and I've done the hardest bit by having these amount of fights and now fighting for titles.
I think as well in boxing, there's so much focus on taking a defeat, but you've seen so many fighters over the years that have taken a defeat. I think look at Klitschko; he lost a few fights along the way. Then he, dominated the heavyweight division for about a decade. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it sort of gives you an opportunity to refocus.
Yeah, definitely. After that fight, you know what I mean? Danny Carr humbled me massively, like massively humbled me. I think I have too many people in my head telling me, well, I was going to do this, do that. Too many people told me that I was going to go in there and knock him out. I was going to be too big and too strong for him. Um, Even though I was listening to them say it, maybe I just thought in my head, maybe I could have done it, you know what I mean? Because um, he's a lot smaller than me. You know, I walked through some of these journeymen and stopping them. So even though Danny Carr's on a different level to these journeymen, I just in my head, I don't know, maybe I just got to let it got to me. I just didn't perform one night, wasn't cutting the ring off. I was chasing him and I just wanted to win so badly and I wanted to win by a knockout on the big MTK show, and then hopefully something big would happen off of that. But you know what I mean, it was taking that first defeat. It was a bit of a shit streak for me. Got me down quite badly. I took it quite badly, and I thought I let everyone down. But now I'm back, and I've got myself out of a shitty, sticky situation. Now I'm back to giving my best shot.
Am I right in saying as well, all being well, come the 1st of April, you'll be the first professional fighter from Yeovil to win a title?
Yeah, that's right. I will be the first person from Yeovil to win a title, and that's my aim. I always said it. I said it in the my last fight. I said that's what I want to do. I want to be the first person from Yeovil to win a title, and then give the kids something to look up to. You know what I mean? Because being from around there is it's harder. Like for me, I've got to go travel 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours just to get some sparring and like decent sparring. So it's harder for the kids down there to make it, for people to make it, and I want to be inspiration for them.
No, of course. What I'd like to do as well, we had Paul Roberts and Jack Hughes both on the channel last week. They were both in the same interview. They were talking about their Southern Area title fight. So I'd like to do the same with you and your opponent. I will reach out. So hopefully he's happy to do that, so we can do that as well, help promote the fight.
Yep.
Jack Hughes, Paul Roberts were both credibly and respectful. It was like the PG version of Gloves Are Off. I don't know what yours would be like. If there's any dislike or there's nothing like that between you and your opponent. But it's Dennis you're fighting, isn't it? The 1st of April.
Yeah, Dennis Wormy. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we'll reach out and hopefully we can make that happen. But mate, going back a little bit as well, for people watching this, tell us about your route into boxing, because everyone's got their own story. If you wouldn't mind just telling us when you first started and what got you to this point.
Yeah, I think I played football at the time. I used to love playing football when I was younger. About 11 years old, my old football manager told me to go down to the local boxing club, and then I'm aspiring some big dude, and he whacked me in the head, and I don't know, just after that, I just loved it. And
that got you into getting punched in the face.
Yeah, something got me off getting punched in the head. I don't know what it was, but yeah, just never really looked back. I think I stopped when I was 15, then returned when I was 18, and since then I haven't ever stopped, and had about 42 amateurs, winning about 27 of them.
And a little bit about your professional career.
I've had 11 fights now. Won 9, lost 1, and drawn 1. The draw was a bit suspect, you know what I mean? I thought I still won that fight, but it is what it is. It's one of them things. So yeah, 11 fights deep, and I think I'm ranked quite high in the rankings as well.
Well, listen, mate. You know, every boxer's got their own story. It's nice to find out about yours. It's great to hear that you're in a good place now, so you can focus on the fight come 1st of April, not anything else that's going on. But one of the reasons why we like doing a podcast, because we like to find out about fighters, inside the ring, what to expect, talk about up and coming fights. What about away from boxing? What do you enjoy doing?
To be honest, I don't really do a lot outside of boxing. I like to see my mates. I like to go for food. Do enjoy the cinema. Cinema is nice. Do like a pick and mix. Yeah, I do. I love a pick and mix. So I don't really do too much else. It's quite like a lonely lifestyle. You know what I mean? Been to a few raves and they're all right, you know what I mean, like drum and bass music, but don't generally do a lot. To us, just chill out. Really, it's getting old now, aren't I?
Do you find it difficult, because with boxing there's so many sacrifices you've got to make, especially nowadays as well with social media? You've only got to flick through at the weekend, everyone's out, everyone's eating dinner, having a few beers. Do you find it difficult to sort of stay away from that? I don't know whether that was sort of you growing up anyway, but is that quite challenging for you, or do you find it easy just to stay and go to the cinema and have your pick and mix?
Well, if I'm not in training for a fight, and that is sometimes it is difficult, because you just want to still be a human being. You know what I mean? Like I sometimes will go out and have a drink with friends and things, but obviously when I'm in camp for a fight, I won't ever go out and touch any alcohol. To be honest, I wouldn't ever really go out or mix in with them sort of crowds because it would just tempt you. You know what I mean? So when I'm in camp, I just really just stick on the ball. You know what I mean?
And what about telly? My missus at the moment has got us watching some proper dodgy shows. You watching anything good that you can recommend?
To be honest, I don't really watch a lot of TV. Yeah, it don't really interest me that much. Watching TV. Like I said, if I'm going to do something, I like to go to the cinema because I like to eat. So I like eating sweets and eating chocolate and watching a film like that. But nah, if I'm going to watch anything, I watch a lot. Just watch YouTube on my phone. Really, I watch a lot of motivational videos.
And
What
obviously
else do I watch? Just
TRSB
what?
Sports podcast, I imagine most of the
Yes,
time.
yes, definitely, mate. Yeah. Um, yeah, and I like nutrition. I'm really into nutrition, so I research and watch a lot of things like that.
Ever thought about starting your own YouTube channel to document your training, your fights, your journey?
Not really my own YouTube channel. I just try and be as active as I can on social media, sort of thing. Um, Without being too active. You know what I mean? You don't want to bore people. You want to keep people entertained. So if you just constantly just posting things all the time, people are going to get annoyed with you. So I just treat my social media as like a story sort of thing. Just try and keep people people invested and keep people watching it by like sharing things now and then and sharing little insights and what I do.
Yeah, you've got a decent following. And what about fights? What fights are you looking forward to this year? What fights would you like to see?
Um, Put me on the spot now. Definitely want to see the heavyweight clash between Fury and Joshua. That's got to be done. Um, who else would I like to see?
Do you want to see
Free put me on the spot.
the White Fury fight? I think it was his last day to sign the contract today, wasn't it?
See that I don't know. That ain't really like that ain't really like grabbed me. You know what I mean? The AJ fight and the Fury fight. Everyone wants to see that. That's been wanting to be seen by everyone for ages. So that's the fight I definitely want to see. Yeah, Dylan White fight don't really bother me, but if it comes off. I definitely will watch it.
And if Joshua and Fury get it on, hopefully they do.
Yeah,
We don't want to see that in 10 years, like the Kell Brook
no,
situation. But who wins that in your opinion?
no Fury for me. I think he's going to be too quick, too slick. Um, like Usyk outboxed Joshua, and I think if Usyk fights him again, I think he's going to be the same. I think the southpaw stance, he's struggled with. I think Usyk's, um, he's a lot lighter and a lot more nimble. Where Joshua, he's a big boy, and he just struggled with the smaller man.
Something you spoke about earlier as well is sort of in between fights, putting on some weight. Obviously, Fury previously did blow up in between fights. It was, well documented, but now he seems like mentally, physically in a brilliant place, and he's not putting on the weight in between fights. He's training every day. You've only got to look at his social media. He's always in the gym. You being a professional fighter, how much does that help you where you do just stay sort of in shape? So when you are going into a camp, you're not having to focus so much on the weight. It's more about, tuning up and make sure, you're doing the right things for the fight and focusing on your opponent.
Oh, it makes a huge difference. Like if you're coming into a camp and you've only got to lose like 3 or 4 kilo to make championship weight, then you're eating loads of food. I remember when for my last fight, I was like force feeding myself. I was eating so much food because I was burning so many calories, and my weight was pretty much on point. I was like eating tubs of ice cream, eating loads of porridge, like eating stupid amounts of food. And people, if they would see me eating that, they would have looked at me and thought, "How is he making weight eating all that food?" You know what I mean?
And what measures have you seen some fighters take to lose weight? Because again, there's a lot of things about that. We spoke to a former amateur boxer that went to some extreme measures. What have you heard of or seen fighters do to lose weight, sort of nearer weigh-in day?
I personally haven't seen anyone myself do it, but I've done some silly things to make weight before, so I'm just going to get a phone call. But yeah, I've done some silly things to make weight, but that's only because I didn't know about food and eating properly and that. Like I used to blow up a weight and kill myself to make weight. Even as a pro, I did. I just my level of nutrition was very poor, even though I thought it was good, and it wasn't. Not until like last sort of three fights, I've sort of really glued into it and sort of like educated myself massively.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got that all under control now.
Yes, mate. Yeah, it's all under control. Yeah.
Well, listen, mate, it's been a pleasure to get you on the channel to talk about your title fight on the 1st of April, just to find out a little bit more about you as well. So people watching this, know about your journey, know about what happened last year. Anything you'd like to add, or anyone you want to sort of shout out, thank?
Yes, because I got a long list of sponsors there.
Go for it.
Give them a shout out. I'll give a shout out to the sponsors who've been backing me for a little while. That's Penrose Scaffolding, Camelot Builders, and the t-shirt shop they have a t-shirt shop of Weston-super-Mare, and Anytime Fitness. They've been sort of like backing me for quite a while, and I've got quite a few sponsors who come on board for this fight. Callus Media, Adam Rains PT. He does all my massages and that, looks after my body after a hard week. Dave Creed and Sons Limited, Southwest Decor Property Solutions, Garador, MP Plastering Southwest Rendering Specialist, and
you weren't joking about your sponsors.
yeah, I've got a few. Equian, so I can't spell that properly, but yeah, they've all come on board for this fight, which is massive.
How important is that for you as well? Just finishing up with, because a lot of fighters we speak to, don't get as many sponsors as you've got. They've got to work a full-time job, manage a family life, friends, and in between that, they've got to try and fit in training. So for you to have so many sponsors, just tell us how important that is.
Well, it's massively important. If you ain't got the sponsors on board, it's just a super struggle. You know what I mean? I never really had many sponsors on board when I first started out my career. I was plastering and working on the side as well, so that was a real struggle. That was leaving like early hours in the morning, come back like late hours at night, and it's just gets to you. You know what I mean? It is a big struggle. So if you're a company out there and you're looking to back a professional boxer, then back him. You know what I mean? I like, if you're just starting out your career, I can see you can get away with it sort of thing. But when you get to championship level, like myself, then you can't be training once a day or going to work because you're just too shattered. It just doesn't work.
And what advice would you give to young fighters coming through about potentially getting sponsorship? How does that work?
Just keep believing. Really, it's the sponsors I've got. I just self-believed and just being persistent and done on my own sort of like work. I've gone out. I've been sending emails. I've been messaging people. I've been constantly like on it. I haven't just put a few posts on Facebook and hope for the best. You know what I mean? Like I've spoken to people, I've messaged people, I've gone out my way, and went and got them sponsors myself.
So a lot of sort of like self-promotion in there as well.
Yeah, you got to self-promote. You got to do everything you can. You know what I mean? You got to try and win these companies over by telling them what you can do for them, because that's what they're interested in.
Perfect.
This is a tactic. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just going to say, it's again, we've spoken to lots of fighters, and some going into title fights with not as many, so they can't do it full time. But I was going to say, mate, you know, it's been a pleasure getting you on. You've got a great story. You know, you tell it very well as well. We wish you all the best for your fight on the 1st of April. And again, we'll reach out to your opponent and hopefully we can get you both on to discuss it.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Top man, thank you, mate.
You're very welcome. Have a good evening, mate.